Q&A. It is June 26, 2000. We do in the first half of the year. There's a likelihood there will not be a live Q&A next week because I'll be in Orlando, Florida. I get there a little bit ahead of Diceericon to spend a day or so with my family before we jump into the convention. I see some of you are already talking about coming to the convention. Are you excited? We'll probably do a video later on this week talking about what to expect at Diceericon if it's your first time. Okay, so I'm answering questions here. Ask them in the comments and I'll get to them. You'll notice that Week in Review is back this week because we did some reviews last week, so it's back. And Board Game Breakfast, really Brothers this morning, really good. So anyhow, if you have any questions, I will answer them. Question, asking it multiple times, probably will get you nowhere. So here there's the best 100 games book, but that's already out of date in my opinion. So there are probably some good books about gaming. Well, Jeff Engelstein has G. That's one I would recommend getting. Let's see, let's turn the mouse around here. I see some people are getting dropped frames, so I apologize. I don't know. When can we expect it? Not anytime soon because we got Diceericon around the corner. Do you ever do pool time at Diceericon? Possibly with my family, but probably not during the convention itself. It is consistently dropping frames. We're not really sure what's causing that right now. We'll try to figure it out. Is the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund solely for those suffering misfortunes, or do you think it would assist in an adoption? I don't know that it would assist in adoption. That would certainly be something that would be debated by the committee. There would be that's an intriguing thing. I guess the reason for the adoption would probably be the biggest thing of all because it's for people who have suffered a major hardship. That's the goal of it. So I don't know. To be played shelf behind me? No, there's just I know I played all these games behind me. These are just games that aren't on. It's another one of the shelves. That's all. Am I getting a Super Nintendo Mini? Probably not. Will we do a live play of Viral? At some point, probably. To do a line of Dice Tower component upgrades or custom box inserts, what would be your reaction? I'd go, what? No, probably not. Where do you like to eat when at Diceericon? I like to go to various places. There's like pick one and go to it. Yeah, play Marco Polo while playing Marco Polo. Have you been playing Hearthstone lately? No, I haven't. I haven't played it in a while. I've been caught up doing other things. Just playing different games and things. I haven't really played a lot of video games. You keep making money and try to make money in different ways, whatever those are called. Tom, you might have addressed this before, but is the Dice Tower podcast not published on YouTube anymore? Published on YouTube. We're not always because it's not one of our highest priorities. So if the week is ever crunched, we don't do it. But we are at least, at most, a week behind, right? Derek, where are we with Dice Tower podcast? Like a week behind, maybe?
We're caught up. The next one, the 510 goes up on Saturday.
Yeah. So it's how easy is it to find players at Diceericon? It is the easiest con, in my opinion, other than maybe a con with like 20 players, to find people. There are players want it and teachers want it. Look for a players want it sign and go join those. If you can't find players want it, then you sit at a table and put players want it and someone will come join you, likely. I mean, if you pick really weird, hard games to get into, but for the most part, pretty easy to find games and jump into them. And if you still can't do it, find me and I will find you players. Let's see, should we be hyped for next month's Godfather release? Well, I would guess so, since there's certainly a lot of hype on the internet, right? Our review will be going up tomorrow. So not only will our review go up tomorrow, but, I'm sorry, CMONCon. What in the world is Robot Turtle, and why do you rate it higher than, say, Blood Rage? That's a good question, but I have an answer for it. Robot Turtle is a game that teaches children programming. In this game, you have a robot and you need to get it to a certain goal, and you do so by playing cards and to make the robot go forward and then left and then right and do different things programming wise, and you can make it more complex, but it teaches some basic steps for programming. Robot Turtle was the first game where I saw my daughter has a she has some mental problems and falls behind. She's the strokes. You may have heard about that in years past, and she is getting better as time goes by, but she was still very far behind. And in this game, she was able to understand it. This game was able to help her think ahead. All my kids that were overjoyed at that, and still am to this day pleased about that. That game ranks a 9 for me. Maybe it's not in my top 100 games, but in the top games that matter, it's very highly rated. You can watch my review. I talk about it a little more. Oh, let's see here. When will we get to see the show from Origins? Probably after Diceericon. It's going to take us some work to put it together, just because it was recorded with different cameras. And I didn't want to post it too far apart from when we actually post the Origin show on the audio feed. That's why. What's your opinion on the art in Wasteland Express delivery service? It looks fine. Could you bench the weight of all your games? We don't have enough benches in the area for me to try it out on. I wouldn't want to take... All right. Have you considered running a game of Werewolf on the cruise? I hear you are a legendary moderator. That's probably not true at all. I don't know that anyone's ever said that. I might. I would consider it. That'd be a very fun thing to do. We have to find a place to do it. But yeah, I would like to do that. Do I regret that? I think viticulture is good with 3. I think it's really good with 3. But I find it tremendously good with... Well, maybe 4 is better than 5. But 4 is definitely very good. Is that the first Miami Dice when Z and Sam have liked the game more than you? I don't know. Maybe not. I noticed Lords of Hellas didn't feature in your most recent crowdfunding episode despite a ton of backing. Any thoughts on it? I don't know why it didn't show up on the episode. I go through and do research and look at the Kickstarter's methodology of searching things is pretty bad. So that would be my excuse for that one. I knew about the game. I don't think me not mentioning it is that big of a deal, because I'm sure I'll talk about it. Are your hats, ties, and other clothes more or less organized in your game collection? I'm assuming you're talking about the game collection behind me. Is this bugging people that it's not as organized as the rest? These are the more loosey-goosey style type games. My hats are not really organized. They're just in tops of closets. And my ties are not really organized either. I have them nicely laid out on racks, but they're not organized by anything. What's the age rate? 10 would be able to handle it. I don't know what the box itself actually says. I thought the Dice Tower Essential games were older games, not known to gamers, recommended games that gamers should own, but Viral's a brand new game. Can you explain how you choose Essentials? I don't understand that last sentence, but I guess, how do I choose essential games? I mean, that's the case with the Sheriff of Nottingham, but Onitama was a small game that had a small print run. I said, let's go for it. In this case, they contacted me ahead of time, and I knew their last game was good, so I looked at it and was extremely happy with Viral. When reading new rules, do you see misspellings as red flags regarding the care put into the game? Misspellings are really easy to do. Anyone who thinks they aren't hasn't edited a book or edited anything. It's really easy to let misspellings into anything. It's really easy to do when you're typing in a lot of information all the time. Still choppy. Says the internet speed here is good on my end. So I'm just going to push through this, guys. I apologize about the choppiness of it. Hopefully it will not be too bad as time goes by, or at least we can get some things. If I could spend 20 minutes influencing the inventor of Monopoly before he ever made the game, it's actually she, what would you say and or do? I would say, listen, can I invest in it? I would like to give you some money and give me 50% of the profits. And when you sell it to Parker Brothers eventually, or when it's stolen from you by, or I might say, hey, this guy's going to steal the game from you. Don't let him do it. Maybe that's what I would do. By the way, some people are saying nice words in the comments, and I appreciate that. If you had to estimate, what hours do you have to put in organizing the Origins live demos and Q&A for the 4 days? I would say I spend at least setting that up as time goes by. There's a lot. And then, of course, we do it. And then the post you see, for each recorded minute you see, there is at least 2 minutes spent. That hasn't found its way into gaming outside of mass market rethemes. I'd love to see Disney Dice Masters or see Disney Dice Masters, although we are already, if you've noticed, we're doing Marvel, which is owned by Disney. Our channel, it's called A Weekender. Well, we do a lot of talk shows, but the main talk show I do is called The Dice Tower. It's a podcast a week on Tuesdays, so that's what I would recommend. Not to mention our top 10 list and a back talk. I don't know what a talk show would be any different than what we already do, I think. These be available again at some point. They are available. If you email me, I'll make sure you get a copy of them if you're willing to donate to the Jack Vasel Fund. Let's see. Getting it, but there's no rush to get it because we're going to be at Diceericon all next week. And my questions just jumped to the bottom. All right. What's your most fond memory of vacation during childhood? Probably going to a small amusement park in Pennsylvania called Dutch Wonderland, I think. Although there's another park in western Pennsylvania called Idlewood, which I also really liked. Those are the two that really stand out to me. When we would go to Lancaster as kids, I remember those vacations. We'd go to Choo Barn, Roadside America, various places in Lancaster, an Amish farm. There were just various places in Lancaster, and I remember a lot of them. Those. Spider-Man probably is one of them. Iceman for sure. Iceman and Spider-Man, and maybe maybe Captain America. I do like Captain America a lot. Do you think putting minis in a game pushes the price point too high? I don't know. It depends on what the game is. Do I think that the minis are deserved? It all depends on how much the price goes up, really. But I'd rather pay more for a nicer looking game for myself. What game has the best Christmas theme? That's a good question, but there are some. But they're mostly card games. There's some card Christmas games like 12 Days of Christmas and things like that. There's not. Jason very sad that he can't join you guys more this past half year. Well, he's just so busy at work. They're putting in a new system where he's working right now, and so he's just been working at Diceericon, which I know is driving him nuts. So he is actually, for like 3 days of the con, he is flying from Miami to Orlando at night to play games, then back in the morning to go work. So he's just flying. He's doing this every day because he wants to be at Dice Tower, and he's actually missing a Diceericon and everything. But what can we do? Because he said he can't skip work there. I noticed that you always wear a T-shirt under your golf shirt. I find it surprising. Isn't it really hot in Florida? I realize you have air conditioning, but you go outside, don't you? Oh yes, I go outside. Although if you read some mother's basement, I don't know. don't really like the feeling of just one shirt, and if you sweat, the undershirt catches the sweat for me anyway. I just don't, I don't know. Also, if I lean over and my shirt comes up, then you just see the other shirt. Not. Will you play all 3 expansions in the Destination Fun combo pack? I don't think they're actually combining them, because I'm looking over here on my shelf and I see the expansion for automobile planes. Do you rate other media as high as well? How many movies this year would you rate a 10, or books? Oh, my phone's right there. Let's look at some of the books that I've read here on Kindle, and I'll tell you if I rating at 10, that was pretty high. I read Advice and Consent by Alan Drury. That's definitely a 10, but I've already read that before, so I'm not sure that one's worth it. I read the Sten books. I've read all of them. I don't know that I rank any of them a 10. Oh, wait. You're right. I did read the Quadrail series from Origins, which was cool. To tell them how much I like that series. I would rate that series a 10. That is one of my favorite sci-fi series I've ever read. Some feel with a galactic, huge thing happening over the whole galaxy, and yet very cool, personal, with a tint of romance, but not too much. Ah, man, it was a great story. That's a 10. Yeah, I think that would be the only 10 I've read this year. Looking back at a lot of these books that I've read, a lot of enjoyable books, but that would be the 10, the Quadrail series. Some weird thing, our internet tells us that we're doing everything right, and YouTube is, so I'm just gonna what is the secret CMON game that was not shown a few weeks ago in an unboxing video? Oh, it was probably Godfather. We can show you. That was probably a lot less. But there was a letter in the box that said, so there you go. Will there be anything else on the Dice Tower channel from UK Games Expo? No, we only recorded the hidden or open is not an issue for me. It's when people try to hide what they did during their turn that gets me. Yeah, I really hate when someone moves really fast. You're like, what did you just do? And they're like, well, if you weren't paying attention, I start a game up and don't ask you. Will all the Origins videos be turned into smaller videos like you do for Gamma? Yes, they will be. You'll see them start going up on our channel tomorrow. I think the final book is my favorite book, for sure. Book 7 was my favorite. Of the films, though, probably. Do you think a game box should have a sweet spot number of players on the box? I don't see how you would help yourself out at all. I keep saying that they need to have a little box on the card them at the end of your turn. Are you allowed to look at cards when you get them? Like stuff that questions that people. Are your neighbors and landlords still happy with you? Well, our neighbors are so far away at this point in time. Like the neighbors on these two sides of us, the street is like way across the street, so I haven't even met him yet. But I know he has a lot of kids. Like I'm thinking some people will like it better. After the publisher spotlight videos, will we see a designer spotlight series? And the answer to that is yes. Misspelling's okay. Ah, the Richard Berg School of Constructive Errata. No, and that's kind of a no. Again, I'm not saying that misspellings are fine and wonderful. I'm just saying I don't get that upset if I see one. I don't. It's like mistakes in general, right? If someone makes a mistake, I feel like we shouldn't necessarily jump down their throat. If there's a consistent pattern of mistakes, that's different. And I think we have to be very cautious on jumping down people's throats for minor mistakes. Would you recommend Arcadia Quest or Arcadia Quest Inferno? I like Arcadia Quest better, which I said in my review. Sword and Sorcery, Gloomhaven look pretty similar. I don't think they look similar, frankly. I think Gloomhaven and I think they look very different, honestly. Sam really likes Sword of Sorcery. I haven't played it yet. Have you played Dwarves Incorporated lately? I think that game's vastly underrated. Yeah, it is underrated, but I haven't played it lately, no. Restarted. Everything seems to be working smoothly from our end. The internet even seems to be fine. So in this case, we're thinking it's YouTube, actually. So unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about that. Do you have to take an 18-hour power sleep after back-to-back conventions like now, Origins, Diceericon, and the Cruise? Well, the Cruise isn't now, but UK Games Expo. No, but sometimes I'll sleep 7-hour nights because I'm just really tired. Occasionally I'll sleep 8 hours. But I jumped through that. Oh, so my answer before was choppy about how much time behind the scenes. Well, I'll clarify that now. We spend about 2 minutes for every minute you see for a live one. There's a whole lot of work beforehand where I talk to publishers and say, hey, this is what I need to have on, I need this schedule here. Can you do it? And they say, can I do it here? And I'll say, what about here and here? And I get that ready, and then I schedule everyone else up, and we try to do this. And we got to talk over what equipment goes to the con, and research equipment, and talk about what went well last year and better next year. And when it's done, we edit. There's a whole lot more involved than you might think. Oh, the Dice Tower is on the verge of being unwatchable because of the lag, people are saying, and I think it's on the verge of being unwatchable just because I'm on it, so that's probably true. What games do you recommend playing at Diceericon? Oh, just go play as many as you want. You'll have a good time there. Shut down and restart would really help. No, it really would not have helped in this situation. Trust us on this one. It's the way it's set up. It's not a shutdown and setup thing. I apologize again. I probably should stop answering lag questions right now. What's your favorite Schlotsky sandwich? Man, it's been so long since I've had a sandwich from Schlotsky's. I wouldn't even know. There's none in this area. I really like them. Have you been to Hershey Park? No. Can you believe that? Everything I've been to, when we were kids, Hershey Park was just too expensive. And now that I'm an adult, Hershey Park is still pretty expensive. Yeah, I'd love to go there. I really would, but I think that would be one of those things in life that I look back and go, it is what it is. Dutch Wonderland, Hershey Park is much better. Well, I'm sure it is, but there's a couple things. One, my family didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, and Dutch Wonderland was cheaper. And two, Dutch Wonderland certainly caters towards younger children. Have you ever been to Spain? I have not been there, no. Is Black Panther better than Batman to you? Wasn't this question asked me last week? No, was asked during the live Q&A between Sam, me, and Z. I like Black Panther probably better than Batman, but I like them both. Let's see here. Do you know if the Carib Royale will let you check in early? I plan on arriving in Orlando Wednesday morning next week. I guess if the worst comes to worst and they don't, you could just store your suitcase there. I've never been to a hotel that doesn't do that, right? Just leave your suitcase and then just go to the con and play games. Come back later and get your suitcase. You don't need to check in early to go play games. So it's really, really simple. That's what I would do. I don't know if they let you check in early or not. I've never got there early to know this. Any recommendations to convince the family to go to Dice Tower cruise aside from games? Well, I wouldn't even use the games to convince most people to go. A cruise itself is fantastic. But the cool thing about this cruise, which I would say over any other cruise, so if you're not going to be able to talk them into saying, hey, you can go eat anytime you want, they do cool shows in the ship, you can go and there's sports and there's activities and it stops cool places. If none of that works, you can, or if it does work, but they're like, why should we go on this cruise? The fact is that the board gaming people who go on here are really nice people to hang out with. Really great and fun people. And they also bring their spouses and families who also sometimes aren't interested in board games. So you have other really fun people to talk to, which you may not run into on a cruise. I've seen some people on the cruise who, not trying to generalize here, but older folk who go on cruises all the time, and so they're kind of stuffy and snotty, and like they kind of expect things. Well, those folk aren't on our table, because the people who come with us usually just go on this one cruise or something like that. So they're very appreciative of the fact that we're on a cruise ship and we're having a really, really, really great time, and we want you to also. And so it kind of is like a big family type thing. Do you think Wits and Wagers Vegas will be the new format for the game show? It's something we're still talking about, trying to figure out. Let's see here. I have not played the Zaya expansion yet, sorry. Oh, and the choppiness is still bothering people. I'm very, very sorry, guys. Not a lot I can do about that. I'm just pretending he's cursing up a storm and the video is censored. What's the most recent TV show that you have watched? Well, I just watched some Suits. So I guess that would be the most recent TV show. I like lawyer shows. Did you read the comments in the load review video? I try to. I don't respond to every comment. This is something I talked to Rodney about, Rodney Smith from Watch It Played, because he does respond to every comment. And I was like, Rodney, if I did that, I would never have it. I wouldn't be able to do anything, because we just get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. But I do try to read every comment on every video. All right. If there was a question that you only heard part of because of the choppiness and it's better now, then please let me know when I can. Do I ever get tired of learning new games? No, it doesn't actually bother me at all. Well, I'm running out of questions here, mostly because people are talking about the choppiness, so I apologize. I don't know if it's still choppy or not at this point in time, because I'm 10 minutes behind in the questions. Oh, apparently Derek fixed it. I'm not sure what we fixed, but all right. Let's see here. Trying to get down to the questions. This is going to be such a bad video to watch after the fact. I apologize. So I'll try to go a little bit longer here. What's my favorite donut? My favorite donut is a big donut full of raspberry jelly, but that is not powdered, with icing if possible. I really don't like powdered donuts. The powdered part of a donut, I don't like. It gets all over you. It gets all over my shirt. It's all over everything. It doesn't add that much flavor. Real pain in the neck. Powdered donuts are a pain. Glazed donuts are slightly better. I like donuts with icing and stuff inside them. So the dulce de leche donuts down here, the cream-filled donuts, but again, they have powder on the outside a lot of times, which drives me nuts. I will suffer the powder because if I like the insides a lot, but I prefer a donut with stuff in the inside and a donut with icing. I used to really enjoy peanut butter jelly donuts with peanut butter and then jelly on the inside. Very, very good. Let's see here. Have you tried the jelly donut Oreos? No, but that sounds amazingly good. What is a roll and write game? Why are they so popular? A roll and write game is usually a game where you will roll dice and then you will write on a board. Sometimes it's not always a roll and write game. Sometimes it might be someone pulls a tile, but everyone's writing something down on a piece of paper and you're trying to fill out that piece of paper in the most optimal way based on what is rolled. They're popular because they're really easy to do and people like it. You don't affect other people very often with what you do. What's my favorite sauce? I really don't know if I have a single favorite sauce because there are so many sauces that are good for different times. Like I love barbecue sauces. There are so many great barbecue sauces. But a barbecue sauce is not necessarily the best one. Pineapple habanero sauce is really great, but it's not like on pork chops. Oh, it's fantastic, but it maybe isn't so good on steak, for example. I like steak sauces. I know it's anathema that some people don't like steak sauce, but I like steak sauces, especially on stuff that's not even steak. Gravy is an amazing sauce. I like sriracha sauce. I like hot sauces. There's so many different hot sauces. There's just so many good sauces. I don't know that I could put them in order. I guess I could say my favorite one maybe. I'd have to sit down and think about it though. You say you don't review prototypes anymore, but still you have made a few paid reviews for games in development. Maybe you should clarify what you're talking about there, because I believe 5 years ago we stopped doing this now. Maybe it's not been 5 years, maybe it's been 4, but it's been a while. If I'm getting paid for stuff, I need to know about it. Let me know what reviews. We had some of our shows have been sponsored by companies, but we haven't done a review for pay at all in ages. Okay, sorry about that. Feather or no feather in your hats? Well, I actually prefer the feather, although every time I wear the feathers, Z and Sam call me a pimp. And I actually have a drawer full of feathers that I bought because I keep losing the feathers, and so I just keep forgetting to put them back in the hats. Do you prefer Star Wars X-Wing or Armada? I prefer Armada. Have you played all the characters in Cosmic Encounter? I have not. There's 150 some characters. I've not played the game. Have I played it 150 plus times? I don't know. Probably not. I like it a lot though. But I definitely played the same character many times. I know I played the Philanthropist at least 4 or 5 times by itself. So no. Am I looking forward to Blade Runner 2? Not particularly. I might watch it. Do you ever get tired of hearing people say how handsome Z is? No, I don't get tired of that. Will you be able to register on Tuesday for Diceericon? Well, no, you need to be registered now. We have a certain number of tickets, so if you're planning to come, get in there and see if you can find one. There's people selling them. Some people have found out that they suddenly can't come. I had to go to the dark side and sign up for the BGG at Sea cruise. Well, I mean, you do what you want to do. I hope you have a fantastic time there. I think you would have a great time on our cruise, but go to the cruise that you want to go to. I wouldn't call it the dark side. Are you looking at some excursions for the cruise? No, not normally. Excursions are very expensive, and when you have a family the size of mine, doing anything like that can be very, very pricey. So we usually just try to go in town and do something fun, or just walk around and look at stuff, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Have I considered doing a What's on the Shelf for Your Kids' Families game? I'll probably do that when I'm caught up on these shelves, so who knows when. Z is the magic that holds dice out together. Could Legacy Games sell a refill kit that has all these destroyed pieces? Sure, you just go out, like say you want a refill kit for Pandemic Legacy. It's very, very easy to get. It's just in another box called Pandemic Legacy. What's your favorite food on the cruise? I have a lot of foods, but they had the salmon. They had some kind of encrusted salmon, which was just really, really good. Whoa. John Wick or Neo? Yeah, that's true. They do act similar. I'll go with John Wick for now. Does Tom still hate Munchkin? Yeah, I do. Sorry. I don't hate the people who play it, though. Remember that, though. So I'm glad people really, really like Munchkin. It's just not a big fan for me. What are your favorite 3 conventions in order? Dice Tower Con, or Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower Con, and then all the rest. What's my favorite mini in a game? I don't know. I have a lot of miniatures that I like. Let's see here. Are you going to ever do an episode on the slang terminology and game types around the hobby that most might have a clue about? Oh, yeah, but we've done it already. Gaming Terms Explained, I think, is the name of the video. We did 2 of them. Me and Z worked on them a couple years ago. Any idea if you guys will do an RPG show? We're going to do a live RPG session, but we're not going to do an RPG show. And at this point in time, I would not even add, like, let's say someone said, hey, I want to do RPG show on your network. I wouldn't even add that because it just wouldn't be worth it for me. What event am I looking forward to most hosting at Diceericon? The game shows. I really, really like those. Although the kids Pitch Guard Championship of the World, I really like that one too. How are the Indiegogo rewards coming along? I'm going to send out an update this week. It's going to look like they're going to be delayed to early June or mid-June because I'm still waiting on a couple of them. I apologize. This one is really out of my hands. I go to these publishers and plead with them to send me this stuff on time. Hopefully it will get there soon. Let's see here. Universal or Disney? I definitely like Universal better. Who's your favorite Blue Jay? There's one that I didn't see it today, but I saw one yesterday. I don't know if I want to pick one Blue Jay over the rest, but for the most part, they all seem pretty nice. I don't put out birdseed for any of them or anything, so. And honestly, I can't really tell them apart. So I'll say the one in my backyard and hope it's the same one I'm seeing all the time. Is raspberry your favorite berry? Yes, it is. Although blackberries are always tempting to overtake it. Donuts, Tim Hortons, Dunkin', or Duck Donuts? I've actually never had Duck Donuts, but I like Tim Hortons better than Dunkin', for sure. Always these food questions. Meh, you're right. This is a board game channel. Why am I answering food questions? Because I just like to talk about food. Which publishers will be on that? Does it not say it on the website? I know that Looney Labs will be back, and that Looney Labs will be back, and CG will be back, and Stronghold is coming. Jason told me that there's 8 companies coming, but I don't know those 8 companies off the top of my head. I apologize. I have not. Let's see. Thoughts on the new Super Mario Level Up game? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I heard that it's going to be better than you might think. So now my expectations have gone up, but I'm hesitant to put them too high because maybe I won't like it. Is there any game from the Dice Tower Essentials lane that you no longer own? No, I have them all. Sheriff, Onitama, Royals, Speechless, Viral. There's only 5. Onitama expansions and Onitama. I guess that would be weird, right? At some point, let's say Dice Tower Essentials had 100 games. No, I would make it a point to have them all because it would be so hypocritical for me to have a game not in my collection anyway. Are there any Canadian foods or products that you really like? I like the Canadian potato chips. They have new cool flavors that we don't have down here in America. There's probably other things in Canada that I like off top. I mean, you have the poutine fries and stuff. But for the life of me, I wouldn't know off the top of my head. What is your favorite fruit? Well, raspberries, I said. But, I mean, lemon is really close. I really like lemon as a flavor. And lime, actually, preferably lime. Cherry is also very high up there. It's cherry, lime, and raspberries. But, I mean, there's a lot of really good fruit out there. Mango, when it's done correctly, is amazing. Plums, peaches. There's a lot of good fruits. Do you think any of your children will inherit your passion for hats? Well, most of them wear hats at some point or other. Melody definitely wears hats all the time. we'll be letting folks show off games at Gen Con like you did at Origins. No, or at Gen Con we have a booth, and that's pretty much the extent of what we do at Gen Con, because that booth itself keeps us so busy. I like ketchup on my steak. Well, that's fantastic, but just be warned, I've seen like steak people who like really like steak, they get really angry about steak sauce, but about ketchup, they almost have fits. What do you put steak sauce on that isn't steak? All kinds of stuff. Mashed potatoes, steak sauce is great on them. Rice. Take some rice, put a little bit of steak sauce on, mix it in. It's a really good flavoring for that. Steak sauce also is not too bad on green beans for whatever reason. But steak sauce, steak sandwich, steak sauce is amazing on it. A lot of people are asking about releases for games. It's in the FAQ, but I don't really know. Release on games. Those are better questions for the companies. Like, for example, someone keeps asking about Rising Sun. I don't work for CMON, so I don't actually know when it will come out. How's it having your office away from home? Do you miss anything from your at-home office? Yeah, I miss Jimmy bursting in and causing problems, but at the same time, I don't necessarily miss that, but I do miss it too. What's the word on Critical Mass? Critical Mass has been delayed again, unfortunately. It was supposed to come out at Gen Con. Now it's been pushed back to Essen. So I'm hoping that it comes out at Essen. There is constant development being put into it. So we'll just have to wait on Arcane Wonders, really, for the release on that one. Why aren't you wearing your Apple Watch? Because I broke it. Everything about the Dice Tower is so professional except for this live stream mess. Why? Says Christopher. Well, Christopher, first of all, we really try to be professional. Really try to be, but at the same time, I'm not going to ever try to be super professional because I like a little bit of that amateurness in it. Secondly, we put more money into live streaming than anything else. If you watch live streaming from big, giant companies, it's problematic. Live streaming is do my best to make this as good as possible. But I will not tolerate these nonsense thrown at Derek sometimes about, oh, this is not professional. We put a lot of work into this. Now, I mean, it doesn't look like this, right? Because I sit here and I'm having a good old time answering questions and stuff like that. But there's a lot of work put into it. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of money that's been thrown to put live stream. We hope that live stream goes well. Sometimes it's out of our hands. There's a lot of connections. There's YouTube itself. There is the internet connection. There are devices. There are just all kinds of different things that can happen. And I am trying my best to fix it as best as I can. And I apologize that this free service, to some degree, is not up to the standards that you like. And no, I'm not. I won't apologize about that because we put a lot of effort into it. And so it kind of bugs me sometimes. This is a mess. Yeah, today it's buggy. It's not that good. But that happens to a lot of streaming shows and a lot of streaming things. We're really glad that it did not happen at Origins. That's really good. But it may happen at first at Origins because we were sharing a stream with the Origins folks. But we're really trying to improve. We're trying to make things better at a time. And it's a mess. I'm sorry about that. But there's just a lot of things. We'll try to fix it. All right, now I need to answer a funny question. Let's see here. Will you be able to pick up your badge Tuesday at Diceericon? I don't think so. I think you have to wait till Wednesday to pick up your badge. But you can hang out in a hotel and other places and play games anyway, and no one's going to say anything. So, all right. Well, I have 8 minutes left, so I'm going to have to go really, really fast here. Have you backed any Kickstarter board game project in the past? I definitely have. Top 10 songs that you hate getting stuck in your head? Nah, I don't really hate about that. Although I did the Vacation Bible School last week and those songs are in my head. I was just telling the guys I need to listen to some earworms to get them out. What time is it where you are? It's 1:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you still use index cards when making your top 100? Yes, I still do that. Are you afraid of catching an RPG bug after the live play? No, I'm not. I like RPGs a lot, but I just don't have time for a lot of stuff. I really like, for example, I really like video games. And every time I play this new cool video game, I'm like, ooh, that's really fun. But I got other things to do, so I don't have time to play it consistently. That's kind of part of being a grown-up, I think. So if I played RPGs and I loved them, I would say, oh, man, I love them. But I really don't have the time to get this into my schedule. So I'm going to have to cut it. Board games, I made time for them. RPGs, if I made time for them, I have to cut something else. Cutting board games would probably be a bad idea at this point. Let's see. Is a passport required to go on a Dice Tower cruise? I don't think so. You want to check. I know some people got away without it. But you have to use a birth certificate and a few other documents, and you may not be able to get off the ship at the ports of call without a passport. Really excited to see a review of Oktoberfest. I know you said you unboxed it last week. Any idea when a review will be uploaded? I don't know. I'll tell you what. The box looks cool, but the inside of the box, the components just look bleh. So we might get to it, but there's no rush for it. Will there be only time expansions forever? I don't know forever, but there will probably be at least one more for sure. I have not played Wasteland Express Delivery Service. Sam is one who's going to be reviewing that one likely. I see you have Viking and the Duke behind you. Why both? Aren't they the same? Well, they're the same game, but they have different pieces, so I can mix them together and play Vikings versus the Duke. It's not the Vikings. It's Jarl, right? Jarl versus the Duke. I can mix them together, so they're the same thing, basically. You can mix pieces together even in them. When visiting a board game cafe, do you choose the game or take a recommendation from your server? No, I always choose the game. Hey, Ted. It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. Let's see here. I've already answered this, but in case it got caught up in lag earlier, Jason is working like crazy. They're installing a whole new system and a whole new thing at his work, and he's been just dead on that, working on that for the last several months. Have you ever put ketchup on your rice? I put ketchup on a lot of things, trying to get it to find the right stuff that it works on. My favorite Studio Ghibli movie, Spirited Away, hands down. They're all great movies they make, but that's my favorite one. Have you played the Friday the 13th video game yet? No, it looks like a good idea, though. I like the concept of it. You know, it looks like it's something in a board game I like, when one person's hiding and everyone else is trying to find that person. In the video game, it seems like it would work better. There are 2 Duck Donuts in the Miami area, but the Miami area is pretty big. Are there any plans for live plays where your viewers are involved? Not very often, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that. The live plays are a tricky thing to do. Period. Right? Most people don't realize that if you're going to do a live play of a game, you have to constantly be talking. People get on Ratto's case all the time, right? Because Ratto never stops talking, which is true. But if he did stop talking, if he was slow and was like, yeah, I think I'll go here, and was quiet for a while, it'd be a whole lot less interesting. When you do live plays, you have to constantly have this patter going, and most people don't know how to handle that. Most people aren't used to it. Most people aren't used to someone watching them live. So that's probably why we wouldn't do it. Do you pull pranks on each other? No. There was a prank where no, I can't tell that yet because that would ruin something else. So minor things, minor at most. Brothers Murph, when are you guys coming out to LA next? Oh, probably not for a year. You guys need to come Diceericon. And wherever you guys work out, they're very lenient. Oh, let's see. If phase. Why does it cost so much to live stream? Well, it doesn't cost so much to live stream. We just bought some devices to make our live streaming better. To get live streaming itself can be, there's a lot of factors that go into live streaming. The internet connection, first of all, is expensive. To live stream really well, you need a good internet connection. Depending where you are, that can be pricey. So then we have the internet connection. Then, how do you get that camera that I'm pointing at here into the computer that you see here? It isn't just an automatic thing. Now, a lot of people live stream through their webcam. That's easy. That's really easy to do, but the quality is not very good of the webcam. You want the cameras like this because they look better. So to get from that camera to this computer, that is a lot harder than you think. You have to find a device that will convert that camera into this so that it can see it streaming-wise. And so that costs money. Now, we are using a box from Livestream, which does it very well, but that costs a lot of money. So that's another cost in it. And just constantly having the different equipment and the wires and the things you need. It's a lot more than you think. And no matter how many times you do it, there's problems that crop up, and you got to get them fixed. Got any job openings? Give me a call. Give me a call, Ted, sometime. I noticed from your footage of Origins that there are a lot of morbidly obese gamers, says Jeff. Do you think this is an American cultural problem in general or a gaming problem specifically? It is probably an American problem. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a gaming problem. And I would highly recommend that you try to see people for their inside. I mean, I think if someone wants to work on their weight problem, and I think we can all agree that weight problems are something we need to work on, right? To be not fat and to lose weight and to be in shape and things like that. And that's something that I need to deal with. But shaming people about it, not a big fan of that. And let's see. Did you say anything about the registration of the word meatball by Hansengluck? I had not heard that one. Someone will have to send me a news item on that because I don't see that anywhere. I don't think that they could even pull that off, right? I mean, how would they be able to enforce it? Are they going to tell people who use the word meatball in rules that they can no longer do it? That would gather them a lot of not goodwill in the industry, I think. Anyway, email me offline about that one because I don't have any way to look at that here. All right, well, I'm really excited to see you guys. I'd like to apologize at the beginning of this video. There was a lot of lag. It seems like it's cleared up more towards the end. Thanks to Derek doing some magic over there. So that's probably pretty much it for now. If we have time, like I said, I'll probably do a live Q&A later this week for Diceericon, where we'll talk about things that you should be prepared for, things that you should look forward to doing, so on and so forth. The Brothers Mirth, we may have been asked to not return to the gym for a while, and we want to come out. We are working on it. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I appreciate everyone watching today. Had a great time talking to you all, except for that lag thing. And our lack of professionalism because of the lag thing and the fact that we're all fat in America. But so many good games. Guys, so many good reviews that are coming this week. I'm excited. I mentioned the Godfather is coming tomorrow, but we'll also be reviewing the new Stop Thief from Restoration Games. That's coming up. Both of those are Miami Dice reviews. We did 3 Miami Dice reviews last week, and I think we're doing 4 more this week. So those are fun to do. Top 10 is coming this week. And like I said, the Origins reviews are going to start popping out later on. Anyway, it's time to end here. So until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower live. Professionalism. We're super professional at the Dice Tower. These guys don't know what they're talking about. it's not working. Good, good, good. All right. Ooh, a snowflake from Japan. Nah, I can do better than that. I think the first one is better.